Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercising my first amendment rights vlog style, here with what I'm now calling a commentary in shades. As a part 2 for my 5-year anniversary of creating this channel, I'm going to do a follow-up to a video I made in 2013 called Just How Much of a Poser Am I? The Ultimate Test, where I commentated on a video called 30 Ways to Tell If You're a Metal Poser. Figure I can do a better job at this time around, because if you don't know already, I really don't like the bulk of my 2013 content. It's not that I don't stand by it, I still stand by the message of pretty much all my videos, but my content at the time was really poorly made, and I like to think I've improved considerably as a content creator in the half-decade I've been making videos. To my surprise, the video we're going to look at today happens to be by the same guy from the first video I did, called Morgul Lord, and like with the first video, it is from 2010. Now, before anybody gives me shit for responding to a video from almost a decade ago, I understand that the guy probably doesn't agree with this video anymore and just has it on his channel because it's got a lot of views. Don't look at this as being an attack on the guy personally, but more of a critique on the points themselves, since I've seen a good bit of them made before in the metal elitist sphere. Don't look at this video as me taking this super seriously, I'm mostly just doing this to have fun. And also because I know from experience that people tend to react negatively to responses or commentaries done on them. If the guy himself or any of his friends happen to be watching this video is not being made as a personal attack, but rather for entertainment, which was the exact case with the first video. So sit back, relax, and let's begin round 2 of the ultimate test. And like with the last time, I'm going to mute the background music because I don't want to be distracted, and I'm going to replace it with some text-to-speech.
How to tell if you're a metal poser Part 2. 1. All of the bands you listen to are commercialized / heavily influenced by the media.
Because it's a bad thing to listen to bands that are well known, so I must be a poser because I like Anthrax, since they're a band a lot of people know. No, not all the bands I listen to are commercial. If you watch my Music I Like video, you'll notice a plenitude of independent or underground artists. But you don't see me going out of my way to be as underground as possible because I find that to be overkill and a waste of time. And what exactly do you mean by heavily influenced by the media? You do know that media isn't just a fancy word for radio and MTV. They're part of the media, sure, but it refers to so much more areas of publication and broadcast such as TV and the internet, which are things just about every band uses to promote themselves and their music. This is a bad thing, how?
2. You are associated with a trend fuck fanbase, ex-Juggalo, maggot, etc.
Because how dare someone enjoy Insane Clown Posse and Slipknot and identify with the hardcore fanbase? To answer your question, while I very much enjoy Slipknot and don't mind ICP as a guilty pleasure, I'm not labeling myself as either a maggot or a juggalo. And even if I did, what else exactly would that prove other than that I'm deeply immersed in their music? Also, what the hell does ICP have to do with metal? Yeah, I get they're kind of a joke, but what are they doing that's hurting metal? What, you think it's a bad thing that people like both? My friend Big Nick is a juggalo who also loves metal, and he doesn't come off to me as a poser of any kind.
3. You think ICP is underground, yet they have a shit ton of merchandise that is sold at Hot Topic, Spencer Gifts, etc.
Well, Psychopathic Records is an independent label, so that doesn't really imply to me that ICP is a huge mainstream act. They have merch at Hot Topic and Spencer's? Since when did that imply how mainstream a band is? And again, what does this have to do with metal?
4. You think a band is good because they are popular.
What's good and bad is subjective, but here's something to think about. For a band to have built a large following of people that really enjoy their music and live performance, wouldn't they have to be good on some level? I'm not saying they directly correlate, but do you really think record labels would have any interest in signing and promoting musicians that were objectively terrible and didn't have something like good looks to fall back on? Believe me, this is something I think about a lot. Even with bands or artists I can't stand, I understand that they would have had to be good on some level to generate any record label interest. Does that mean they're objectively good? No, because like I said earlier here, that's subjective.
5. You only listen to a certain band because they are popular.
Isn't this a repeat of the previous point, just worded differently? The only way I'd say this applies to me is when a band's popularity factors into how I first hear about them, to which I then listen to a few samples of their stuff and determine if it's something I think I'll like. I know how to think for myself, don't worry.
6. You think nu metal takes more talent than death metal the rabbit possum .
If you're gonna say someone is more talented than someone else, you first need to establish how you define talent. I'm not going to argue which genre I think takes more talent to play. All I'm going to say is that there are numerous talented musicians that play in nu metal bands, and that there is a particular brand of talent that is required to properly play in the style. Same thing applies to death metal. You want examples of nu metal bands I find to be talented? How about Sevendust, Nonpoint, Korn, Kitty, and quite a good bit more.
7. You think death metal is disgusting or offensive, yet you spend hours upon hours watching horror movies.
I've said a number of things about death metal, but not once did I ever call it disgusting or offensive. The most I've ever said about it is that I find a lot of it to sound the same. Doesn't mean A, there aren't death metal bands I like, or B, that I think the music is so asinine that no one should be able to enjoy it, as if I think I'm any kind of musical authority. I can agree that it's pretty hypocritical to not like something because of graphic or violent lyrics, yet enjoy movies with graphic and violent content, because as myself and Official GATG established in the Debunking the Metal is Sexist theory video we made 2 years ago, a lot of the shit is figurative, just like in a horror movie. I'll end the point with this. While you do make a good point about hypocrisy, not liking death metal doesn't make you a poser, just like not liking nu metal isn't what makes someone a metal elitist. It makes you someone who has a different opinion on the music.
8. You prefer deathcore over death metal.
Preferences! Oh no! Believe it or not, it's the other way around with me. I mentioned in my Why I Don't Like a Lot of Death Metal video that I was not a big fan of deathcore, because I had a feeling that assumption would be made a lot. I have more death metal bands in my library than deathcore bands. Death metal has 17, deathcore has 12.
9. You think breakdowns take more thought and skill than solos.
Well, no, I don't. But here's the thing with breakdowns. You need to have an understanding of rhythm and subdivisions, so don't get this idea that breakdowns take no thought whatsoever.
10. You think random voiceovers are cool. X lied to my face.
Are you referring to the part in the song where out of nowhere the guy goes, "What the fuck?" I had to re-listen to the song to figure out what exactly you meant by random voiceovers, since I don't listen to Carnifex all too often, although they are one of the few deathcore bands I dig.
11. You have a How to Scream video, yet your screams sound like someone's choking on semen.
Well, as my username should imply, I don't exactly specialize in tutorial videos, but I have a question. You hate metalcore and deathcore, right? So you don't like music with scream vocals. So, given that's the case, how would you know what good screaming sounds like, let alone screaming that sounds like the vocalist is choking on semen?
12. You think image comes before music.
Well, whether you like it or not, image is important in how a band is marketed and how they market themselves. Obviously not to the extent that nobody cares about the music at all. What's with this idea that nobody puts effort into their music? Let me ask you another question. Say you're going to a show. Would you rather the band look to be in shape on stage, not look too fat, have reasonably groomed facial hair, if any, and not look like they didn't shower? Or would you rather the band not give a shit about how they look at all? I know people are probably going to say I'm nitpicking here, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's not a bad thing to give a fuck about how you look. Not just for others, but for yourself as well.
13. You bash rap, pop, etc. when they have nothing to do with the metal scene whatsoever.
I have a video on my channel called Ignoring Pop Music is Fine, but Bashing Certain Bands is Justified that pretty much applies to this. I agree that complaining too much about pop and rap music has gotten somewhat redundant coming from metal and rock fans, but the reason I don't bash the two of them constantly is mainly because, unlike what classic rock elitists think, there's good rap and pop out there. And why exactly does something need to be affecting metal in order to warrant bashing? That's not the basis for why I and other people don't like certain music. I have my reasons for not enjoying most current rap and pop, but them affecting the metal scene is not one of them, nor should it be.
14. You rebel against authority just to gain attention.
Again, I'm not sure exactly what this has to do with metal. Yeah, people going through their rebellious phase can be kind of annoying, but can we really say this correlates to the music they listen to? Maybe there's context that you're ignoring, maybe they're not doing it just for the attention. Just some things to consider, bud.
15. You illegally download all of your music from LimeWire, iTunes, etc.
How? Fucking how do you illegally download from iTunes? If you're paying for your music, then how is it illegal? If this is supposed to be about, why aren't people buying physical copies? Then you should have worded this point to be about that, rather than talking about illegal downloading, which is a completely separate issue from the discussion of CDs versus MP3s. Same with if the issue is not all the money you're paying for music on iTunes is going to the artist. That doesn't make buying music on iTunes illegal. Again, completely separate issue. Now, I'm willing to admit I do torrent some of my music, mostly out of print stuff and stuff that isn't even available on iTunes, let alone in any store in my area that sells CDs. Sure, thrift stores are an option, but again, there's always the possibility that you're not going to find exactly what you're looking for, as well as the fact that there aren't any thrift stores in my area that I know of. But there is music in my library that was torrented. Most of the stuff that isn't torrented, I either got on Bandcamp or bought on iTunes. Anything outside of that was bought or gifted on CD. Would I like to own physical copies of all my music? Sure, that'd be awesome, but I'm kind of a broke college graduate. Clearly I have money at my disposal that doesn't come from my parents that I can chuck away on CDs. There's nothing wrong with buying music on iTunes or not buying CDs. It doesn't make you a bad person. Sure, the bands could really use however much money they can get from CD sales or even vinyl sales, but I don't think you're an evil person for not buying physical copies, and it doesn't make you a poser.
16. You wear slim-fit clothes with homophobic colors.
What exactly are homophobic colors? I think you mean to say homoerotic or homosexual colors. But even then, this is supposed to be a bad thing? While yes, I am wearing skinny jeans, Lucky Brand Rebel Super Skinny to be more specific, I'd like to know if there's anything gay about this Chon shirt and this yellow flannel, because this is what I wear pretty much on the regular, except in the summer when I wear plaid shorts and no flannel. And I hate to keep repeating myself, but what does this have to do with metal? And weren't you complaining earlier about people placing emphasis on image?
Consistency!
17. You wear shirts of bands you don't know about or listen to often.
I've said in videos before that most of the shirts I get are at shows, and very rarely do I get shirts at stores or even online. Answer me this. Why would I go to a concert of a band I've never heard of or don't listen to often just to get a shirt? That's dumb. Like I said in the video about Justin Bieber wearing a Metallica shirt, I like to think it's uncommon that people actually buy shirts just for the design and not because they actually like the band to a degree. Am I saying it never happens? No. But if someone were to spend money on a shirt of a band, I'm sure on some level they're familiar with the band's work. Like here, Chon is one of my favorite bands of all time. I love their album Grow, and Homie was my favorite album from last year. These guys are all spectacular musicians. I got this shirt when I saw them live in June of last year, and I not only got a VIP photo taken, but I also managed to get a selfie with Mario Camarena, one of the two guitarists, which is my favorite selfie of all time. Clearly, Chon is a band I know nothing about.
18. You think Oli Sykes is the death metal greatest vocalist of all time. Lol.
Brilliant grammar, first of all. Second of all, I know the difference between death metal and deathcore. I'm not stupid. I think Oli Sykes is alright as a deathcore vocalist. Not sure I'd say he's the greatest. I'd probably give that title to Ronnie Cannizzaro of Born of Osiris, which is my favorite deathcore band.
19. You think bashing Hannah Montana / Jonas Brothers makes you seem tough, yet you listen to bands that are no better. X Slipknot.
Really? 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 Slipknot is on the same level as the Jonas Brothers and Hannah Montana? Really? You are out of your goddamn mind! I'm not even saying this as a hardcore fan of Slipknot, but how the bloody fuck is this a fair comparison? I agree, bashing Hannah Montana on the Jonas Brothers is counterproductive and silly, even in 2010, and this is coming from someone who bashed them a lot when I created my first YouTube account in 2008. But if you really think Slipknot are no different of a band, whether it be in terms of music sales, recognizability in the industry, or hell, even musical talent, go fuck yourself. You don't know what you're talking about.
20. You keep up with all the latest fads and trends at your local Hot Topic.
Like I also said in the Justin Bieber Metallica shirt video, what's with all this misplaced hate for Hot Topic? It's just a clothing store. Nothing more, nothing less. Why is it such a bad thing that someone buys clothes there? I don't even go to Hot Topic very often, like I said before. And whenever I do, it's not because I want to stay up to date on trends. It's because I want to see if there are any shirts I want to get of bands that I don't have in my collection. That really a problem?
21. You think wearing shirts with profane words printed on them makes you seem tough. X people equals shit.
I agree getting shirts with edgy shit on them makes you look pretty autistic, which is why I don't get those shirts. When I'm at a concert getting a shirt, I'm not only evaluating the design, but also asking myself if it's a shirt I can see myself wearing regularly. The shirts I tend to get have a pretty simple design or a recognizable image, have a bit of a color scheme going, and don't appear to be too edgy. Also, I don't get shirts to look tough. I really don't give a shit about looking tough.
22. You think wearing shirts with incomprehensible lettering makes you look cool.
No, I think it makes you look like a wannabe edgelord. That's why I don't get those shirts. I want people to be able to see what the band is called, and it helps if the logo or image depicted is recognizable.
23. At a metal concert, you prefer hardcore dancing because moshing will ruin your feminine appearance.
First of all, implying it's a bad thing to look feminine. Second of all, I actually don't like moshing, nor do I like hardcore dancing. The reason why is because I go to concerts to listen to live music, not because I want to get pushed and shoved around. If you like moshing or hardcore dancing, good on you. It's just not my thing.
24. When someone insults your favorite band, you feel the need to throw unintelligible insults at that person.
Way to misspell unintelligible. No, I actually try to debate their points and try to understand where they're coming from. Do I expect to change their mind? Not really. At the very least, I expect them to be civil with me and maybe listen to a song or two that I think contradicts their idea. For example, when people say my favorite band, Alter Bridge, are Creed ripoffs, I always tell them to listen to songs like Cry of Achilles, Ties That Bind, Farther Than the Sun, Metalingus, and others because they have heavy riffs, great solos, and sound nothing like Creed. And I do so without insulting the person, because I'm of the belief that no one wants to be insulted, and insulting the person is not going to make them want to listen to you. And it also makes for very weak arguing and debating skills. Jeez, it's like Jesus Christ all over again. What a half decade this has been, guys. For the record, I'm not saying you should never insult someone or that I think insults are always bad. People can be creative with their insults, such as Dr. RanterInShades in this clip.
How you view the world is entirely your fault because you are entirely faulty. It doesn't matter how much anyone cleans their house, you won't see a house. You will see dragons raping each other, you maniac!
I just don't like trying to engage in a dialogue with someone and all they do is fling insults. Like I said, it's poor debating.
And lastly, but not leastly,
Leastly isn't a fucking word.
25. Your name is Dawn Patrol 21 or the Rabid Possum.
Clearly neither of those are my username, nor have any previous accounts of mine had that username. The Dawn Patrol guy sounds familiar, but I've never heard of the other guy. I'm sure this is just some personal beef the guy's had with people on YouTube. All I'll say about Dawn Patrol is that that's the name of a really good album by Night Ranger, so I'm led to believe he has some good taste.
And now I present to you more shitty bands, some more repeats from my previous video, The Epidemic of Musical Suckage.
Okay, if we're gonna be objective about anything here, it's that Broken Side is shit, but that's like saying water is wet. Also, who labels Broken Side as metal? Yeah, I know they have scream vocals as part of their style, but the music itself is far from metal.
Faggy scene metal, if it is even that.
Nice grammar there. Yep, Bring Me the Horizon is metal. Deathcore is a subgenre of metal. They might not be playing deathcore on their most recent album, but it's still metal at the end of the day.
False metal.
Nope, Disturbed is alt metal. That too is a subgenre of metal.
Absolutely fucking hate.
Absolutely fucking hate!
Ooh, look at me, I'm so badass. I hate a band that a lot of other people hate. I'm so counterculture. Aren't you special?
The definition of Hot Topic commercial metal.
Well, at least you admitted Bullet for My Valentine are metal.
Worst band up to date without competition.
You really think Limp Bizkit is the worst? You must really not listen to much music if you really think they're the worst, like it's still 2001. I'm not even saying this as a fan of the band, they're a guilty pleasure band.
Made special for all of you emo cocksuckers.
What do Hawthorne Heights have to do with metal? Who actually labels them as metal? Mentioning them is pointless.
Complete bastardization of death metal.
I've actually never heard of this band, Waking the Cadaver, prior to making this video. I know people are gonna say,
Wikipedia isn't a reliable source.
well, for basic information, I don't think it's a horrible thing to use Wikipedia. But let's see what they have them labeled as.
n.wikipedia.org. Waking the Cadaver.
Brutal death metal. Definitely sounds like something I'd enjoy. But hey, at least you aren't trying to say that they're not death metal.
The definition of failed white trash.
For the last time, what do I see goddamn P have to do with metal? And this is coming from someone who thinks bashing rap is stupid since it has nothing to do with the metal scene. So then why all the constant jabs at ICP? Do I need to play the consistency clip again? Okay.
Consistency!
This is not real metal, and neither are those faggy-looking masks.
Lovely no true Scotsman there, friend. As we established before, yes, Slipknot is metal. Nu metal, or alternative metal, is a metal subgenre.
Well, this concludes my video. Enjoy this short clip. Death of Dawn Patrol 21.
I'm not sure what this Dawn Patrol guy did to you, nor do I really care, but don't you think it's a little childish making death threats like this? Just saying, it doesn't really make your side look good.
Owned.
Owned. I'm totally not a new fag, despite my bashing of new fags. And that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. When tallying up the points, there are a few that partly apply to me, but none that are 100% applicable to me. Thank you for making these past 5 years as enjoyable as internet adventures can really get. Thank you for watching this video, take care, and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.